Hey, where's Ains? Father Chris here. Welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Glad to have you beautiful people with us in the midst of Death Week. It's so funny. When we were preparing for this, it was like, really? We're going to talk about death? We're talking about death. Yesterday, I told the story about when I was going through my trustee statement, and, it's a really weird confrontation to come face to face with death, and your own death, no less, which is kind of a weird thing. And so in all of that, it makes us, well, it should make us know that, look, I'm cliche, but we've only got one life to live. We must make that life count, right? Like as warrior saints, we start from a position of Adam and what we're not supposed to be like, and Christ in what we're supposed to be like. Adam, really, the message is given to us in the garden, right? In chapter 2, so God creates the man, and he places him in this beautiful garden, and he puts him in there, and he gives him his purpose. Listen, in chapter 2, it says, God placed the man in the garden to till it and keep it, right? To till it and keep it, meaning this blessing that God gave the man, the garden, the paradise, right? His responsibility is to care for it, to nurture it, to become a gardener, to produce. His job, his purpose is to make an impact in this garden, right? Like the idea, it's metaphorical, right? It's what he's telling us is, look, I'm giving you blessings, God says. Go and produce fruit. That's your job. That's what I call you to, right? Like, we have got to do that. Now, it goes further in Christ. Jesus tells us a story in Matthew. It goes further into the Gospel of Matthew 25, when he's talking about a guy who's got money, and he goes away on a journey, and he gives to his servants 5 talents, which is a lot of money, 2 talents, which is also a lot of money, and 1 talent, which is obviously less, but still a lot of money. And he says, go and produce fruit. Now, chapter 25, verse 16 and 17, the one who received the 5 talents took what the master gave him and went into the marketplace and traded and worked and produced, and he made 5 more. And likewise, the guy who had 2 talents went and worked and traded and produced and made 2 more, right? The last guy, because he was afraid or whatever the story tells us, he didn't do anything. He didn't produce any fruit. And the result of that was when the master returns in Matthew, Jesus was tough in this part. He says he threw him out, right, of the house into a place of wailing and gnashing of teeth, right? Like, in other words, that loss, hell, whatever you want to call it, right? Just a place of utter torment, whether it's here, or real, right? Because he did not produce fruit. And the message in all of my rambling for this moment is to say, look, warrior saints, we too have been called to produce fruit. It is our job, our responsibility, our purpose, a great gift that God has given to us, that we make an impact in this world. To do that, we have to be exceptional people, which means we have to have a work ethic. We can't be lazy. We got to get after it. Sometimes we fall, but we got to be, diligent and resilient in getting back up. We've got to look ahead. We've got to focus on things that we can actually do, things that we're actually good at, things that are proportionate to the time we have, as opposed to trying to make a millimeter of progress in a million different directions. Doing all that, is right in our wheelhouse. That's what we as warrior saints do. We try to teach that because we're trying to do it ourselves. When you find yourself confronting death and realizing, look, whatever time I have left in this life, I have got to make it count. I have got to make an impact. I have got to, as Adam didn't, produce fruit. But I don't know how to do that. When you come to that confrontation with death and say you want to get some, but you don't know how to do it, that is the moment you visit this website. Because at that website is a program we offer called The Way of the Warrior Saint. Let me tell you, very simply, that's all we do. We're not the smartest, best looking, funnest, most professional outfit out there. We are, however, the ones who know the gospel to the best of our ability, and we're really pretty good at sharing it so that you can become what Christ was and not like Adam was. Make sense? Love you. You want to live a crucifixional life? You want to start making, producing fruit in the world to fulfill the purpose that God gave you in the garden? Pretty simple. Join the Way of the Warrior Saint. Love you. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, keep walking on the way of the Warrior Saint.